the environmental element in the state and with the regulatory people in the state, I guess you'd say was pretty much at rock bottom. I was given the job to take over the siting, the development of major projects for the company, which basically involved power plants and major transmission lines. I thought to myself, why in the world would the company give me this job? I know nothing about this work, but God gave me one gift, and that was this, that to get things accomplished, you got to work with people rather than against people, and you got to have friends. So I started by asking the question, what is the largest environmental movement in the state? And somebody said, well, that's the Florida Wildlife Federation. I said, oh, and who heads up the Florida Wildlife Federation? Well, a guy by the name of Johnny Jones. I said, where does Johnny Jones live? He lives up in West Palm Beach. And that was my start, was getting in touch with and working with Johnny and Mariana and the rest of the Jones family. And Johnny was very instrumental, and Mariana as well, and I certainly don't want to slight her, because when I worked with the two of them, I worked with both of them. Was very instrumental in introducing me to Art Marshall, who was a very influential environmentalist in this state. Bob Patrick, who at that time was vice president or on the board of the South Florida Water Management District. Hal Scott, of the Audubon Society, the people in the Sierra Club, and of course, Colonel Don Wisdom, who is here today with the Corps of Engineers. And I started creating friendships and working relationships with these folks. And to give you a classical example, when I first tried to contact Art Marshall, he was a professor at the University of Miami. I was living in Miami at the time, and I put in several phone calls to Art Marshall, and he never returned my call. So one day I got up, I got in the car, and I drove out, parked the car in the University of Miami parking lot, walked in, and sat down at a chair at the end of Art Marshall's desk. He was on the phone. And when he got through, he said, what do you want? I said, I came to see you. He said, what do you want? I said, I want to make you a friend. I said, you and I have got to work together. And that was my first association with Art Marshall. And I think that if Art were standing here today, he would say that he was as good a friend, or I was as good a friend as he had in this state, because I can certainly stand here and say that Art Marshall was one of the best friends that I ever had. I learned a lot from Art Marshall. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot from people like Johnny and Mariana, who was in the business of environmental people. And I look back at the successes that I had, and when I look back at the development of the Martin plant site, which is north of Indiantown, which is now producing somewhere in excess of 5,000 megawatts of generating capacity every day, and I say to myself, I really have to give credit to those folks that I worked with over the years that helped me. And I can stand here today and say to you, not one single adversary problem did we ever have on the Martin plant site. And I credit that to those people that I mentioned that I worked with. And I got to give the major credit to Johnny and Mariana for their friendship and knowledge and experience, and for what they did for me in helping me succeed. Thank you.